Thousands turned up to a far-right march, which was supposed to be headed by Tommy Robinson, but once again, he was arrested. Among the messages were signs reading "Two-tier Kiev fueled the riots," alongside calls to bring back Rwanda and stop the boats. Some demonstrators were seen holding cans and glasses of alcohol. The Metropolitan Police reported that 2 individuals from Mr. Robinson's protests were detained on suspicion of breaching Public Order Act conditions, and another on a racially aggravated public order charge. Meanwhile, a counter-protest organised by Stand Up to Racism, encouraged by calls for a massive anti-fascist demonstration, saw thousands rallying in the capital. Former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, Diane Abbott and trade union leaders spoke to the crowds gathered. Mr. Robinson supporters, some waving union flags, were also seen with "Make America Great Again" banners. Many wore "I am Peter Lynch" badges in memory of a 61-year-old man who died in prison after being jailed for hurling abuse at riot police outside a hotel housing asylum seekers. Now, I find it very funny that there were MAGA banners. This is England, it's not the US. Now, mentioned in the article was a counter-protest, which prompted many on social media to cherry-pick certain incidents to accuse the anti-fascist protesters of being the real hateful people. Adam Brooks, GB News contributor, gate-crashed the anti-fascists in order to try and play the victim. He said this on Twitter. "Is this what the left want to align themselves with? Yeah? Multiple occasions of barging me, of backing me in with rucksacks, of flags forcibly put in my face, my cameraman pushed around. Are you sure that these are the good guys? Really? You're bonkers. If so." He attached a video and we're going to take a look.
Okay, what have I done wrong? Fuck you. Fuck me. Fuck you. Okay. Anti-fascist. Okay. Anti-fascist. All right. Why are you standing around me? Anti-fascist. Anti-fascist. Am I meant to be scared? Anti-fascist. Anti-fascist. Am I fascist? Am I a fascist? Why are you trying to touch me? Do you think you're intimidating me? I'm here on my own with a cameraman. Do I look scared? No? Am I meant to be intimidated, guys? Guys, am I meant to be intimidated?
I mean, I see no pushing or barging, just people ignoring his silly stunt of trying to be oppressed. And people simply didn't care. I mean, this always happens. There are right-wing pundits who make it out that the left are the real violent ones and that they hate our own country, but they always omit the incidents on the other side. We have a video of some of the marchers doing this. That's right, so-called patriots pissing down the side of buildings. So, why are those on the right, or GB News, not outraged at this? You bet they'd have a field day if it turned out that these people were from the counter-protests. Kevin, this is a tactic that has been more and more prominent. It's to turn everything on its head and make out that those who march to stand up to fascists and racists are the real bad people. They're the real racists. How successful do you think this narrative is? Is it working? Are more and more people starting to fall for this spin?
No, I don't think they are, thankfully. But it's certainly something they're going to continue to try. We've seen it with Zionists trying to make out, desperately trying to go to these rallies and get assaulted. They want to be physically attacked. So if you go to any of these, just ignore them. They're just provocateurs. They want to be attacked so that they can cry about it on TV. And they'll obviously do all of the media rounds about how the violent leftists are the real racists, etc. So just ignore them. Just do what they were doing there. Just back into, just ignore them. They're not there. create a safe space for the other people around you. Awesome, very based. And yes, the Tommy Robinson people, nothing says I love this country more than urinating all over its capital, it would appear. One would notice that more people turned up to the counter-protest, and yet there were not mass bladder evacuations taking place in public in front of children. Indeed, those streams of liquid on the ground, it wasn't raining. That was urine. That was literally pools of urine all over the streets of the nation's capital. What wonderful respect they have for the nation. Honestly, the fascist counter-protest, I've never seen a group of people who looked more divorced in my entire life. They were just the most pathetic group of incel losers. And appropriate, I suppose, that they're defending a guy who, even though he's built £87,000 more on top of the millions he's already built from people and grifted from people over the years, for his legal defence, only to turn up in court today and plead guilty and get sentenced to 18 months. That being, of course, Tommy Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon. Yeah, it's these people are nothing if not absolutely pathetic. The conservative brain is just rotten to its very core, it would appear.
I would say there's, I mean, I don't even know the estimate of the numbers. People are trying to say there's 250,000 people that turned up. No, it didn't. Okay, there were
No,
thousands
that's
of people,
absurd.
right?
Yeah.
What I will say, though, is there any way back from this? I know there are certain people that are unreachable, and neither do you want to reach them, but this may seem unrelated, but I don't think it is. There was a poll that came out that showed, who would vote for Trump in this country. And the first time we saw that a majority of men would vote for Trump over Kamala Harris. Now, if you look historically, back in 2016, you had 80% saying they would vote for Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump. That was every category, including men. That's changing. You've got young men supporting reform. You've got men supporting Trump over Kamala Harris. This isn't just a handful of thugs, incels, divorcees at a march. This is growing rapidly, isn't it? Is there anything, say Keir Starmer, the Labour Party, or the political discourse to at least try and bring some of these people back away from this cult of fascism? And I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Fascism is a swamp that can be drained. And unfortunately, we're about to see on Wednesday the exact opposite of that with the Labour Party's Conservative budget.
Yes.
Essentially, the way you defeat fascism is by improving the living standard. Sorry to get all Marxist here with my concrete reality of existence.
You're speaking to a Marxist, so I'm absolutely happy that
you're... Yeah. Material conditions are the thing. If people have reasonable safety in their area, if their kids have a good school, if they're earning enough money to put food on their tables, and they've got reasonable chance of kind of life or career advancement, and again, it doesn't have to be major, just a semblance of hope for the future, they don't turn to fascism. Fascism is where people go when they're desperate. It's a desperate measure by desperate people. It's the howl of the oppressed or something like that. I don't know exactly. But it's essentially, it's the extreme reaction to the extreme circumstances that neoliberalism has put the British working class in. Unfortunately, they don't turn to the left, who have actual answers. They turn to the right, who have easy answers. And the Labour Party, unfortunately, are about to make that situation significantly worse by doing really petty and evil things like removing the £2 cap on bus fare. So the poorest in the nation will see that, oh, we're sending money to Israel, we're sending money to Ukraine, but I can't even afford to go on the bus. They look for scapegoats in that situation. They look for targets that they can actually reach, because they can't reach Jeff Bezos, they can't reach Elon Musk or even Keir Starmer. But when they're told, oh, the migrants are the ones that are the problem, they can see that in their real lives. And that's a thing that unfortunately resonates with people in desperate situations. And that situation is not going to improve, unfortunately, because the Labour Party doesn't really exist anymore. It's just two sides of the same conservative coin.
Support independent media. Support social justice that's there on social media. Thank you. Turn left.